Coach, I saw Texas State did not make a field goal in the last 7 minutes of the game on Saturday. Tell us about your team's effort and performance down the stretch.
I thought the whole game we were pretty good defensively, and I told them that yesterday. I said, look, this team is growing defensively. We're getting better, and we're not where we need to be yet, but I think that they've got the buy-in. They understand how important it is, and I think, the sooner our teams figure that out every year is when we start getting pretty good, and it's every team is different, and but this team's starting to buy in, and I think we showed that the other night. I thought we were really good going all the way back to Middle Tennessee defensively. But, what we're starting to learn is that our offense also plays into defense. We're not football. We don't get to say stop, send out our best defensive unit. We got to do it together. And so the guys are really starting to buy into that. And I think what we did late in the game versus Texas State was we really controlled the pace. They wanted to play fast. They wanted to get up and down the floor a little bit, especially when they're trying to play catch up. And we were able to just keep our composure, play at a certain pace, and that helped our defense. Frustrated them a little bit. And where they were trying to play fast, and so they maybe weren't taking as high percentage shots. When we were holding the ball and making sure we were turning down good for great, and that's growth. I mean, I think that gives me hope, that this team is heading in the right direction for sure.
You've had several quality teams come into Moody to start the season. How nice has that been to have that quality competition at home?
It's been nice, and it hasn't been nice, I'd love to be sitting here instead of 3-1 be 4-0, right? But I think that's how you get better. I mean, I was talking to another coach in our league this morning, and we're playing very similar opponents, and we were talking about that. It's the older you get, the longer you're in this business, man, you stop worrying so much about, trying to stack wins at the beginning of the year. You want your team to get better, and I think we got better. I don't know if we can beat Texas State if we don't do what we did against Middle Tennessee. I think we needed that loss. We needed some of the mistakes we made in that game to be good enough to beat Texas State. And we talk all the time about it's a process. And so, but that process doesn't start until you start playing real people, and so that's the point of it. And it doesn't get any easier. We have, the home games we have left, the road games, they're quality opponents everywhere. And so, that's, as like I said, as I've gotten older, I've learned that that's probably more important. Not worrying about wins and losses, and just worry about playing really good people and getting better.
So first, obviously, a big loss yesterday for the ACU basketball community. I'll let you give a comment on that.
Yeah, John Ray Godfrey, man. I think I said it on social media. There's one man that has his number hanging up in the rafters here, and it was him. And so I didn't get to know him as well as some other people, but the couple times I did, he was super nice to me and to our players a few years ago. My first year as the head coach, he came back and watched us work out, on a game day, and just so much respect for what he was able to do, here at Abilene Christian and the kind of man he was. Like I said, I didn't know him really, really well, but I know a lot of people who did. And so anytime, our family, our basketball family and community loses somebody like that, we obviously want to pay our respects. And so his number, he'll never be forgotten here. His number will always hang in our rafters. He scored 41 when Moody opened. You know what I mean? And back then, that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points now, but imagine when there's no three-point line, how hard it is to get to 41. Our prayers go out to his family, of course. But he'll always be remembered in our basketball community for sure.
And now we shift over to basketball. You mentioned process. 3-1, not bad at all. Obviously, you never want to expect to win, but some teams that you probably expected to beat. Tell me how good that is.
Yeah, like I said, I feel a lot better today than I did last Monday, just because you're coming off of a win. But, I think that the biggest thing is, again, that we keep getting better. Again, I know it's coach speak, but we've, those that have been around our program a long time know that we always talk about the process, and trusting the process. And some years we can win those games as we're getting better. Some years we don't, and so far we've won one, lost one. It's okay. We're playing good teams, and it certainly doesn't get any easier as we head on the road tomorrow, So, but I think that, as long as the players can buy into that concept, I hate using the term buy-in, but I don't know how else to say it. But, if they can buy into that concept of, man, it's a process, and we get better as we go. I would be nervous if we were as good as we were going to be right now, like I told him, yesterday in practice, man, how good I thought we were defensively. I finished it off with we have a long ways to go still. And but for this time of the year, I think I like where we're at. We still got to figure some things out, our rotations, and what's our best way to score and all that good stuff. But man, pleased right now, being where we're at as we get better to be 3-1.
Well, now it's about to be a bit of a challenge. Obviously, some road games coming up. How are you and the team preparing to go on this kind of long road trip?
Man, just trusting each other. We've talked a lot about how it's going to be different on the road. Trusting my staff. I have a good staff, man. That's really prepared us, I think, for how we're going to travel and how we're going to do things. And so, I think it'll be a challenge. It's the first time this team's going to do it. When we scrimmaged, we only went to Dallas. So we got on a bus and drove a couple hours, and that was it. Now we're about to get on some airplanes and travel all over the country. So, and again, we're not playing any easy opponents. Our next opponent's a Conference USA opponent on the road. So, we're I don't know if you can prepare for it until you start doing it, but I know this. Every year, we always, at our level, you're always going to take a big road swing in the non-conference, and I always enjoy it. I think that's where we really start to see improvement. That's where we really start to get better, is when we kind of get away from the distractions of being at home and we get on the road, and it's just us. And so I'm looking forward to it, actually, and hopefully the players are too. Yeah, no, man, fired up for KP and the whole football team. I think it's pretty cool, man. And anytime anybody here wins a championship, it's pretty special. I think sometimes, fans and everybody, they kind of take it for granted sometimes how hard it really is to do that. I think what KP's done here has been amazing. We talk about trusting the process, right? And he uses different words, but that's exactly what they've done. They've built this program from start to now to winning a title. And I know they're not done. They have another regular season game left, and that I know he's going to do a good job of making sure these guys are prepared for. And then they got a playoff run in them, I have no doubt. And so I'm just excited for them. It's been fun for us. Good football is good for everybody, man. And so it helps us. It helps us in recruiting. It helps us. We were able to practice yesterday with the championship logo all around us, man. It was on our scores table. It was on the walls. It was everywhere, and we made note of it with our players. This is what we're chasing. But you look at ACU, man. We've won championships since going Division I. I think people, some of the people that question whether we should go Division I or not. I mean, what have we done since we went Division I? We've won 2 basketball conference tournament championships, gone to the NCAA tournament. We've won a golf championship. We've won a tennis championship. We've actually won a soccer championship, which I think was the first one. And now we're winning the football championships. And so, if we're going to do anything, man, we're gonna be great at it, and we're going to keep chasing those championships for sure.
Leo was kind of limited end of last week and into Saturday's game. Do you expect him to be at full health this week?
Yeah, he was full strength. He was practicing yesterday. Looked like his old self. I don't think he looked like himself during the game, quite honestly. He was fighting an illness, and we weren't even sure if we were going to play him. And so I'm glad we did. He gave us some quality minutes, but he's healthy. He's on the mend. This is just that time of year, You're never going to have a full strength squad probably. We haven't yet since we started playing games, but neither of our opponents. So, but now we get to go on the road, and but I expect him and everybody else to be at full strength.
Going on the road, playing Kennesaw State on Wednesday. What are your keys to that game?
Man, pace. They play at a crazy pace, and I'm not really talking about up and down, but they play super fast in the half court. It's a pace that we haven't seen probably in a few years, to be quite honest with you. And so we're going to have to really, really lock into defending the basketball, defending their ball screen actions, which are they're really good at. I mean, I think they're elite at it. And then they have really good players. I think they had a top 40 recruiting class last year, which you don't really see at the mid-major level very often. And so that staff's doing an unbelievable job getting talent in there. It's going to be a tough challenge. And I know weekday game at Kennesaw, it's going to be packed. It's going to be truly our first hostile environment. So I'm kind of excited to see how we're going to handle it.